university or the individuals in part of it, I don't think will ever be the same.
From the Iowa City Bureau, Jody Husentroot, Channel 2 News.
The 4 individuals that were fatally shot this afternoon were all found in room 208 of Van Allen Hall, the physics building. They were all said to be in the same classroom. After the shooting, the assailant, Gang Lu, reportedly traveled the 2 blocks over to Jessup Hall into room 111, where he shot 2 more women. And our Sandy Riesgraf talked to an eyewitness to that shooting. Sandy?
Actually, we got a report from an eyewitness who is now at the hospital awaiting the condition of the 2 victims there. And according to this eyewitness, the gunman, he walked right into the Office of Academic Affairs. He asked specifically for Ann Cleary. When she came to the door, he shot her once in the head. Then he turned and shot her receptionist, Mia Season. After he shot Mia, according to this eyewitness, he turned slowly and calmly, walked out the door and down the hall. So, Pete, apparently, from what this eyewitness is saying, a very unemotional sort of act on the part of this gunman.
And we've also been told in our briefings down here that he deliberately knew who he was going after.
Yes, and apparently he did, all except for Mia Season, who many say was just basically in the wrong place at the wrong time.
She was a clerical worker in the Office of Academic Affairs. Thank you, Sandy. We should add that after the shooting in the room 111 of Jessup Hall, Gang Lu, the assailant, then was found, his body was found in room 203, so he went up a floor of Jessup Hall where he was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. What was his complaint? Authorities down here say that he was upset over not being nominated for an academic award. He was upset that he'd been passed over, and that apparently was the motive involved in this shooting. Again, a tragic shooting that has claimed the life of some of the university's finest individuals. Again, those 4 fatally shot: Dr. Christopher Gertz, age 47, Dr. Dwight Nicholson, age 44, Dr. Robert Allen Smith, and Linhua Shan are the 4 individuals who were fatally shot this afternoon, and the 2 critically wounded being treated at University of Iowa hospitals, Dr. T. Ann Cleary and Mia Rodolfo Season. That's the story from right here. Again, the university is waiting the return of President Hunter Rawlings to the campus tomorrow before they make more plans on how to deal with this tragic shooting. Dave and Amy?
All right, Pete, thank you for the report. And we hope to have pictures of some of the victims before the end of this newscast tonight. And what can you say about something like this, Amy?
Not much to say. Thank you, Dave. Also tonight, Cedar Rapids police are on the scene of a shooting at a westside bar. Shots were fired at the neighborhood Sundries and Tavern at 828 5th Avenue Southwest. At least 1 person is injured. We have a crew at that scene as well and hope to have more information later on in this newscast. The Julian Dubuque Bridge is set to reopen in the morning after 8 months of reconstruction. Mark Kulda reports area business owners couldn't be happier.
Workers put finishing touches on the $12.5 million project that will once again connect east with west. These barricades have been up for the last 8 months while the bridge has undergone reconstruction. During that time, businesses on both sides of the river have been hurt, and now they hope that business will get better. Mulgrew's Bar in East Dubuque has seen about a 40% drop in business in the last 8 months.
Starting Baer, Greenwich Mountain increase in business. And I think the whole town is thinking about that.
But Mulgrew is not the only one happy to see the bridge reopened.
We live more on the northwest side of Dubuque, and coming around it's a little out. This will be real handy, and I'm sure it should help East Dubuque a lot.
More people will be able to come back and forth at a closer to their homes than up Wisconsin. Though we've enjoyed the Wisconsin Bridge too.
The mayors of Dubuque and East Dubuque will meet in the middle of the bridge for the official ribbon cutting, but business leaders say it may take several months for the economy to get back to normal.
The impact was a little less severe, I think, than we had originally anticipated, which is very fortunate for our business community. But the long-term effects, I think, we're still not going to see for a little while yet.
Well, I'm not going near the bridge tomorrow.
Why is that?
Because it'll be crazy.
Ceremonies get underway at 8 a.m. In Dubuque, Mark Kulda, Channel 2 News.
Victims of Northeast Iowa flooding this spring and summer may one day see more federal aid. The U.S. House has approved more than $1.2 million in emergency disaster aid for Clayton, Bramer, Butler, Chickasaw, Fayette, and Marshall counties. The bill makes up for a funding shortfall in the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Senate and presidential approval are still pending.
A brutal mixture of snow, wind, and freezing rain hit Iowa today. In western Iowa and South Dakota, blizzard conditions were common as high winds whipped the fresh snow. In north central Iowa, freezing rain and ice snapped power lines and coated roads, making driving hazardous and virtually crippling Webster County. In our area, freezing rain may have contributed to an accident in Lynn County late this afternoon. A van driven by 52-year-old Jack Pigman rolled in a ditch on Highway 94 at the thermogas plant in Palo. 2 passengers were treated for minor injuries. Pigman, who was charged with driving while intoxicated, is still at the hospital for evaluation. Those who plow snow say the first storm is always the worst. The Cedar Rapids Streets Commissioner says he doesn't expect any problems tonight or early tomorrow. He says a ½ inch of snow is predicted and crews are ready for it.
Well, I think we've learned a long time ago that we'll be ready for anything come the first part of September, really. And we have adequate supplies of sand and salt on hand, and we have our spreaders ready to go, and we have a night crew standing by.
Murdoch says he's glad Cedar Rapids has missed most of the snow because most of his trucks are still geared up for removing leaves. For the latest weather cancellations, call Channel 2 News In Touch in Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Dubuque, or Iowa City. The category for weather cancellations is 2240.
And Tim Heller has been tracking the storm all day long. And Tim, what's the latest?
Well, Dave and Amy, it looks like our snow has just tapered off to flurries in eastern Iowa. In fact, nothing being picked up on radar right now, but roads are still slick. We've got the road report coming up a little later.
All right, Tim, thank you. First, Iowa's new direct link to Russia in turmoil and the business opportunities that may result.
If you've been waiting for a good time to buy your new Chevy, you'd better wake up and smell the savings, because through November 1st, your Chevy dealer is offering giant discounts on every vehicle in stock. Save thousands on a new Chevy Lumina, the car for families that like to have fun. And save a ton on a new Chevy Cavalier. Get it right now for a shockingly low price. But the point is, you've got to do it now, because your time is running out. See your Heartland of America Chevy dealers today.
Here's the difference in black and white. The Walmart price. It's different.
Because Walmart is different.
Instead of relying on sales events, we watch expenses so we can give you the low price.
On every item. On every shelf.
In every aisle.
Always.
The Walmart price. It's the difference between other stores and Walmart. The difference between sometimes and always. Walmart's grand opening celebration begins Tuesday in Iowa City.
For 3 days, I repeat, 3 days only, every ring at Siebke Hoyt Jewelers will be half price. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, every ring, not just a few, but every ring at Siebke Hoyt will be half price. This isn't a collection of rings that nobody wanted. Oh, no. This is Siebke Hoyt's finest collection of diamond and gemstone rings. Half price. Every diamond ring, bridal set, ruby, emerald, sapphire, blue topaz, amethyst, pearl, and opal ring, every man's ring, half price. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all rings, half price at Siebke Hoyt Jewelers. Don't you dare miss it.
When Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev visited Iowa in 1959, he ushered in an era of closer relations between his country and our state.
Those ties are growing even stronger during the period of perestroika, as Farm Director Wade Wagner is about to tell us. Wade?
And Amy and Dave, as you well know, Iowa has had a long relationship with the Soviets, especially in agricultural circles, and that's probably why the Soviets chose to open up an important new trade office in downtown Des Moines.
It's the kind of story that's not making big headlines, but Iowans continue to be heavily involved in the transformation of the Soviet Union. This is the opening of the first of its kind, a Soviet trade office in the U.S. Organizers say the joint venture will coordinate and provide services to agribusinesses in 11 Midwestern states.
I believe this kind of cooperation is very some special.
We do best what they need the most. And we're going to be able to sell not only commodities, but machinery and ideas and equipment.
Soy Pro of Iowa is negotiating a multi-million-dollar contract with sources in Russia. The Cedar Falls-based consulting firm is just one of many Iowa firms expected to take advantage of this new connection.
And of course, being on the ground floor of a new exploding economy like the Soviet Union is terribly advantageous to American companies. I think Iowa is better known in the Soviet Union than it is in the East Coast of the United States.
Indeed, with the help of Iowa State University, hundreds of Soviet farmers and researchers are expected to study in Iowa during the next 5 years. Stan Johnson helped draft the new exchange agreement between the school and the Soviet government.
Everybody there says they want to have a free market system, but no one can agree on what a free market system is or on how they get from where they are right now to where they want to be.
A prestigious Soviet panel came to Ames in April to organize the intensive exchange program. The guests included Boris Yeltsin's administrative aide for land reform, who said at that time Russia was ready to move forward to decollectivize agriculture.
We're changing to the normal life, I should say, and for me as a civil servant, of course, we're trying to do our best, to help Gorbachev and Yeltsin in their way in perestroika and so in this good changes.
As for the future, this trade office provides the base of operations to develop a new market for Iowa products, value-added products, food processing equipment, and machinery.
We have problems, big problems. Maybe some questions, for some questions we don't have any ready answers, but we are trying to find them. That's why we are looking around, and maybe we want to use some experience of other countries and just to use the best things from their experience and for improving life in our country.
The people have to be patient, right?
Yes, very much, and people want to work, and that's the real base for the improvements in our country.
And I think we'll be hearing from the Russians, a lot more Russians in the years and months ahead. The Iowans and the 11 Midwest states have also opened up a trade office in Moscow that will coordinate business with the Des Moines office at our capital here in Iowa. And I know I've had a lot of doom and gloom in these reports, and people have commented about that. And I'm going to take a day off, and on Sunday I'll be back at 10 with a kind of lighthearted look at some pictures I took over there in May that I've really never shown before. Some own personal home video of some of the funner things that happened over there.
Oh boy, tune in. Wait, it's fun in Russia. We can only imagine.
I'm not going to show everything.
Wait, a great series, really fascinating.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay. The war is over, but the work is far from finished for Red Cross workers in the Middle East. Carolyn Scholl served in Kuwait during the Gulf War and lectured to the State Red Cross Conference in Cedar Rapids today. She says Red Cross efforts in Kuwait and Iraq continue.
As of today, November 1st, we still have 17 Red Cross staff serving in Saudi Arabia and in Kuwait. That's because we still have American military people there.
Scholl says Red Cross units will remain in the Middle East until all U.S. troops are home.
The opening session of the Middle East Peace Conference came to a stormy conclusion in Madrid today.
The story tops Dateline tonight. Secretary of State James Baker gave a stern lecture to the participants about how the world would view a failure to agree on a meeting site for round 2. Also, Israel called Syria a tyrannical regime, and Syria attacked Israel's prime minister, saying he had been involved in the assassination of a Swedish diplomat in the 1940s. President Bush is pushing to keep a wobbly economy from falling apart. He's suggesting the Federal Reserve cut interest rates and Congress approve an unemployment aid package that stays within budget guidelines. Government reports out today show unemployment rose 0.1% in October, and the leading economic indicators fell by 0.1%. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas took to the bench for the first time today and says he's ready to get to work. Justice William Rehnquist administered the oath and wished Thomas a long and happy career. Thomas is the second black Supreme Court justice in history. Minnesota is digging out from under a record-setting snowfall. More than 20 inches fell on the city, causing countless traffic accidents and forcing the governor to declare an emergency in 2 counties where power's out. Meanwhile, coastal residents from Maine to Florida are cleaning up after an intense storm that's killed at least 4 people. My goodness, we're all getting it, huh?
Aren't we?
Yeah.
And Tim Heller will join us next with an update on our winter storm.
But first, how an unusual bank may help develop everything from new vaccines to cancer cures.
If you take medication every day, read the fine print. No, not here. Here, the price. Because while the prescription in the bottle is the same from one pharmacy to another, the price isn't. Walmart Pharmacy has the low price. So switching to Walmart Pharmacy can mean substantial savings. Walmart Pharmacy, a trusted place to fill your prescription without emptying your pocketbook. Walmart, always the low price. Always.
Take the easier way. Choose Medicap Pharmacy. There's no hiking through crowded aisles, no waiting lines, no searching for the pharmacy counter. So instead of being pulled in all the wrong directions, make a right turn. Stay healthy with us. Medicap Pharmacy. For care, convenience, and savings, we're a healthy step in the right direction.
You can't change the world, but you can change the way you live, like serving more Dannon yogurt to you and your family. You see, where the world is filled with stress, Dannon is filled with calcium, potassium, and real yogurt cultures. Where the world is relentless, Dannon is relaxing, rejuvenating. So while you can't change the world, your life is in your hands. Make Dannon yogurt a very healthy habit for life.
Tim Hiller joins us now for an update on our weather. And Tim, it seems as though it's tapered off outside. Does that mean it's done for a while?
For the most part, with this storm system, we now just have a few flurries pulling into the air. And the other thing with the storm that we're going to feel tonight and tomorrow and throughout the weekend will be all the cold air. The weather today brought a grand total of 26.2 inches to Minneapolis. That's the total, and it's still snowing there. Let's go right to the radar. Storm Track 2 Doppler radar tonight, not showing any significant rainfall or snowfall for that matter. Everything is tapered off, as I said, to a few flurries. Other than that, just some blowing snow. And precipitation amounts have been rather light. What you see there around Waterloo is false echo. We have a clean slate across the board tonight. Again, that's false echo around the Waterloo site. This is what we have for you on numbers so far. This is moisture content now, 1 3/4 inches in Cedar Rapids from the rain showers today. Some of that snow, but not very much of it snow. 1 inch of rainfall in Dubuque, 1.5 inches in Iowa City, and over 2 and almost 2 3/4 inches of rain in Waterloo. And temperatures continue to fall at this hour every hour, setting a new low temperature for the day. Winds out of the west at 31, gusting up to 45 miles per hour. The relative humidity 81%, the barometer rising at 29.72. Check out some of the temperatures across the state. Waterloo now down to 25 degrees, 28 in Dubuque, 26 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City 27. Cooler off to the west, you factor in the winds and you get some very cool air. Wind chill readings tonight anywhere in eastern Iowa, anywhere from 2 below to about 10 below, with conditions off of the western part of the state down to 20 below. That's wind chill reading out there, and this is November 1st. All advisories have now been lifted except for blowing snow advisory, which is still in effect for north central and far northwestern corners of Iowa. That's the main spot where they saw the heaviest snow showers today, anywhere from 10 to 14 inches in the northwestern corner. Travel not recommended in that area because of the winds now blowing up to 20 to 40 miles per hour. Dropping visibilities down to near zero, creating near whiteout conditions in the north central northwestern corner of the state. Everywhere else, roads are up to 100% ice covered. Not a lot of ice in most cases, but still, it does call for some slow driving out there tonight. Also be aware of some light blowing snow. There's not a lot of snow, but the winds are quite strong and doing a good job of blowing it around. Let me take you back 24 hours and show you the storm coming in out of Oklahoma. It's a biggie, producing the heaviest snowfalls on the backside of the storm. Watch it swirl up here, and in this band right here, that's where the heaviest snows fell back and through the northwestern parts of Iowa. The system now moving racing off to the northeast, and as it does so, the snow showers will be tapering off tonight to do flurries. The freezing rain off to the east of us now, and even tomorrow morning as the storm continues to lift to the northeast, we get nothing but flurries here in eastern Iowa, and the flurries will continue right along the Iowa-Minnesota border, mainly even down here to central Iowa every once in a while. But throughout the weekend, it looks like things are just going to be cold, very cold. Just how cold we'll tell you after this break.
Racine, Wisconsin schoolteacher Mary Waldrip outlines her plan to cut back at the gas pump.
Sturdy Sweats by Lee. Two for just $15, men's and ladies sizes. Sturdy Sweats by Lee, exclusively at Target.
Travel Iowa river to river, and you'll see the signs of a new financial spirit growing all across our state. From Davenport to Council Bluffs, Iowans are discovering how Firstar banks are putting Iowa first with a new generation of financial services, helping you grow, Iowa. We're the Firstar banks.
We spend so much time talking about the snow that a storm is going to bring, we sometimes downplay the cold air that comes in the way. But we have been talking about the cold air returning, and here it is. Tonight, dropping down to the teens across eastern Iowa, with winds out of the northwest at 20 to 35. Wind chill readings will be about 25 to 35 below. Beware of some blowing snow along with flurries tonight. Tomorrow, with a cloudy sky, just a few flurries in the skies, otherwise cold, very windy. Winds out of the west at 20 to 30. High temperatures not very high tomorrow. Teens and low 20s puts wind chill readings about 15 to 25 below. That's in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, a few flurries under a cloudy sky. Temperatures in the single digits in the north to the teens in the south. The 5-day outlook shows a warm-up for you as we finish out the weekend and head into the early part of next week. Up to 20 for Sunday, maybe the mid to upper 20s come Monday, and perhaps the 30s by Tuesday and Wednesday, with another shot of some rain and or snow coming in by Tuesday. How would you like to win a family vacation to Walt Disney World for 4? Well, to do that, send us your name, address, and phone number to this address. And then at 10 o'clock every night through the end of this month, we will pick one name, and only that one person then has an opportunity to win. And you still don't win until the final drawing, which takes place at the end of the month in November. Patricia Sims, we have picked your name from Cedar Rapids. Patricia Sims, call us at 1-800-222-KGAN. Only Patricia now is eligible for a chance to win. Patricia, you need to call by the end of the newscast in order to register your name.
And only Patricia.
That's right. That's to register,
Yes.
Send us your name and address, then you're eligible.
Okay, good. Thanks, Tim. You've heard of blood banks and sperm banks. Now in Texas, there's a cell bank. And as you'll see in tonight's Medical Breakthroughs report, research done there could one day fight cancer or protect astronauts in space. This is the Center for Human Cell Biotechnology. It's not a bank, as you might imagine it, but a series of laboratories and storage facilities housing right now about 30,000 vials of preserved human cells.
And so the cells are cultured from normal sources such as cadaver donors or discarded specimens from surgery, as well as from tissues that have disease like cancer.
This is one of the bank's unique features, that researchers have both normal and disease cells to work with.
It's sort of like you have a car that's broken, but you've never looked under the hood and you've only seen the broken car. Well, if you look at the normal cells and you understand how they normally work, then you can look at the broken cells and maybe figure out better what's happened with those particular cells.
Researchers are studying cancer cells from the colon, lungs, kidney, liver, and other organs in hopes of developing transplants. They're working with NASA to understand how gravity affects the body's tissues.
And of course, this is very important for long-term space travel in the space station and for the problems that they have with bone and cartilage in long-term space travel.
By examining the human cells thought to cause diseases, scientists hope to develop vaccines to prevent them.
Vaccines for hepatitis and vaccines for AIDS.
The lab's research will need to be verified through animal and human trials, but it's hoped that in the future it may even replace the need for some animal experiments. This is Amy Johnson.
Tonight's Medical Breakthroughs is brought to you in cooperation with Mercy Medical Center.
And you can call Channel 2 News in touch or write us here for more information. And Dave, the Human Cell Bank is also working with researchers around the world to break the human genetic code. That's some interesting stuff.
Indeed so. And what's your report Monday night?
Monday night, a surgical breakthrough for heart attack patients.
Okay, look forward to that.
Okay.
Thanks. Next in sports, the NBA basketball season gets off to a slam dunk.
And it's the oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi River, a preview of tomorrow's big game.
A couple of years ago, I tried that Chevy truck. You know, the one they said would finally beat Ford? Don't remind me. Well, they were wrong. So I'm going to get me a new Ford. You know, they got a new F-150 out this year.
Oh, yeah?
It looks great, and the interior's excellent. Besides, why should I buy another Chevy when the only new thing on it is a price increase?
Got me?
Introducing the redesigned 1992 F-150, available now at your local Ford dealer for only $219 a month.
Well, one thing's for sure, I'll never switch again.
Culligan improves the quality of the water that works throughout your home. And the quality of the water you drink. With water conditioning and drinking water systems you can feel good about. Right now, get a free $100 Culligan drinking water system when you buy a Culligan water conditioner. But hurry, offer ends soon. So call your participating Culligan man.
Hey, Culligan man!
In the white pages.
This is how much fun shopping at Econo Foods can be.
Walt Disney World is celebrating 20 years of magic with 20 spectacular new reasons to visit the Magic Kingdom, Epcot Center, and Disney MGM Studios theme park. Win our grand prize and fly Delta Airlines, the official airline of Walt Disney World, and stay at a Walt Disney World Resort Hotel. It's your chance to celebrate the biggest year ever at Walt Disney World. To enter, just send a postcard to KGAN, then watch for your name on the Channel 2 News at 10. Call by the end of the newscast and you'll qualify to win, only on the Channel 2 News.
We were all just talking here, and I guess the big game tomorrow between Ohio State and University of Iowa is on, although certainly with some sad feelings following the shooting spree this afternoon.
Be interesting to see if the Hawkeyes come up with the black armband or something. They might have something. The Hawkeyes, though, did cancel or forfeited their volleyball game with Northwestern tomorrow, so the home game with in volleyball in Iowa City will not go on. But let's talk football. Hi, everybody. Every Iowa fan would like to forget the 1985 game at Columbus. Unfortunately, the weather and noise situation may be the same tomorrow, which does not bode well for the Hawkeyes. The rain didn't help Iowa's passing game, and Hayden Fry will never forget how the noise affected his audible system.
We can't audible. That really handicaps our offense. Like the year we went over with Chuck Long and the monsoon and the crowd noise. Plus, the referee that game didn't know how to handle crowd noise. So that's a difficult situation.
The big thing, I think, is to get the play called in the huddle that's right, you know. And Coach Fry's been doing a great job with that. So if we can do that, then we shouldn't have a problem audibleizing because we wouldn't have to. But if we do have to audiblize, you know, like I said, we have our own little package. We'll be ready.
Some keys to look for. Ohio State loves to run, but their passing game is suspect, so look for the Hawkeyes to load up against the run. The weather will be cold and wet. That does not favor Iowa's passing game. It'll also be cold tomorrow in Mount Vernon when Coe and Cornell meet for the 101st time in the oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi. Mike Ducey has a preview now on the game which will decide the Midwest Conference Southern Division champion.
When it comes to big rivalries in Division III, there's none bigger than Coe and Cornell, and it gets even bigger tomorrow when the schools meet for the division title.
There's a lot riding on the game in addition to the rivalry that there is every season. So it's a big game, and we're going to be ready, I think, for it. It's going to take excellent play by both teams in order to come out with a win.
Coe has the league's top passing game, with Guy Simons and Travis Fuller combining for 15 touchdowns. Also the league's fourth leading rusher in Kerry Bender, who's back and healthy. Plus the Coe Hawks have the top defense in the conference, holding opponents to 44 yards rushing per game.
When you can stop the run and force a team to throw the ball, we have the D-backs who can pick it off and provide good coverage.
For Cornell, quarterback Bruce Feldman is steady. Running back Jason Bennett, the top threat on the ground, with almost 500 yards.
I think we need to come out and put the ball in the end zone right away, first possession. If we do that, I think Coe might, you know, think this team's better than we thought.
Let's hope Bing didn't hear that wherever he is. Even with frightful weather at Ash Park tomorrow, fans should be treated to an early Christmas gift of great football when Coe and Cornell clash. Mike Ducey, Channel 2 Sports.
The long and winding road that is known as the NBA basketball season began tonight. The defending champion Chicago Bulls hosting Philadelphia. Michael Jordan and company picking up their world champion rings and then proceeded to run rings around the Sixers. In grade school, this may have been a walk, but in the NBA, it's simply 2 of Michael Jordan's 26 points. Chicago took a 31-point lead in the second half as Philly was never even close. Scottie Pippen here going coast to coast for the slam. Nothing Sir Charles could do about that one. The Bulls win their debut by 20, 110-90. Over Philadelphia tonight. On to the scores. B.J. Armstrong with 10 points for the Bulls. Boston by 3 over Charlotte. The Magic defeats the new-look New York Knicks. The Pacers lose at home. Milwaukee by 10 at Detroit. And Utah spoils the Timberwolves home opener. In high school volleyball tonight, this is 2A district final action. Cedar Rapids Jefferson's Jim Cox is talking to his Jayhawks because Clinton was taking it to them. Jill Jones with the kill as the River Queens took the first 2 games. Jeff did win a game, but that was all. As Clinton takes it in 4 tonight, both teams still will advance, though. Checking the scores tonight, it's Clinton in 4 over Jeff. It's West in 3 over Kennedy, and Dubuque Wahlert by the same score over Dubuque Senior. We want to mention in the NBA tonight, Les Jepson, the former Hawkeye, was traded by Golden State to the Sacramento Kings, so he will be joining Bobby Hansen, the former Hawkeye there in Sacramento, and Mitch Richmond joins him in Sacramento, going from Golden State to the Kings, and Sacramento sends its number 3 pick overall in the draft, Billy Owens, to Golden State.
And they shuffle around, go back and forth.
That's right.
Okay, John, thanks. And we'll go back to Pete in Iowa City after this.
Channel 2 News continues with market information from Berthel Fisher and Company.
Buy a base Dodge Dakota, and you can dress it up inside and out with our special LE package for no extra charge. Order air conditioning too, and you can get our new 180 horsepower Magnum V6, also at no extra charge. And now get $750 cash back too. Dodge Dakota.
See your local Dodge dealer today.
I want to know the latest news, and I want to know now.
Call In Touch from Telecom USA when you want to know now.
I want to know today's scores, and I want to know now.
Call In Touch from Telecom USA when you want to know now.
I want to know it all, and I want to know now.
Call In Touch from Telecom USA when you want to know now.
They'll keep the winter out for years. They'll lock out wind and rain. They'll give you joy and light and pride to comfort you again and again.
Andersen windows and patio doors do a beautiful job of standing up to the weather outside. But their real beauty is the way they make you feel inside.
Come home to quality. Come home to Andersen.
Now, tonight's winning daily game numbers from the Iowa Lottery and Channel 2 News.
To recap our top story tonight, 5 people are dead and 2 others in critical condition on the University of Iowa campus after a shooting spree shortly before 4 o'clock this afternoon. The victims were Dwight Nicholson, the chairman of the Department of Physics, Christoph Gertz, a physics professor. T.Ann Cleary, an associate vice president of academic affairs, was one of those wounded and is in critical condition. Robert Allen Smith, an associate physics professor, was killed. The other victim of the shooting was a student, Lin Ha Shan, and the gunman who took his own life, Gang Lu, was a doctoral candidate in physics. A temporary secretary in the Office of Academic Affairs was critically injured in the shooting. She's identified as Mia Rodolfo Ciasan.
And Pete Seyfer is live at the briefing headquarters at the Old Public Library in Iowa City. And Pete, what is the mood like there right now?
Amy, as you might expect, the mood here is very somber tonight. About an hour ago, University of Iowa Vice President for University Relations Ann Rhodes gave this assessment of the situation.
I'm not sure. I can't. I've only been here in Jessup Hall, and the mood in Jessup Hall is one of shock and profound sorrow, and this is an absolute tragedy unlike anything any of us have experienced before, and these are all valued colleagues and friends, and I think the shock is just overwhelming, and it will all sink in a little later, I think.
And again, that's the reaction that I found here tonight. As I mentioned at the top of this newscast, across the campus, people tonight told me they're stunned, shocked, sickened, and as one university employee told me, this just doesn't happen here in Iowa City. Well, unfortunately, tonight, it has. And of course, we'll have complete update on this story tomorrow on the Channel 2 News at 6, and we will break in throughout the day whenever we need to bring you the latest on this tragic shooting in Iowa City. That does it from down here in Iowa City. Back to you, Dave and Amy.
Okay, thank you, Pete. And a tragedy it is.
Terrible thing.
Yeah.
Take us time to get over it.
Yeah.
Tim, how's the weekend weather going to be? Better or worse?
Well, I'm not sure if it's going to be any worse. In fact, it looks pretty good. As temperatures start to fall a little bit, we're going to see wind chill readings about 20 to 30 below, and just a few flurries coming up over the weekend.
Okay, thank you, Tim. That's our news for now.
Thank you for joining us. Have a good weekend. Stay warm.
This is KGAN. These are the people who work at KGAN. Any questions?
Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm curious as to when you'll be getting stereo sound.
I want to know about the new anchor woman that I was watching tonight. I think the news team shows that you're very dedicated, and I'd like to compliment you for that.
Call us during Channel 2 Feedback, Saturday night at 10:30.
How can it be that an automobile, a mere 9 inches larger on the outside, gives you over 2 feet more room on the inside? Maybe it's the new math. The 1992 Toyota Camry. We just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Come see the all-new Toyota Camry. Roomier, safer, quieter, and more powerful at your Toyota dealer now.
Now at Kmart, get 60 portraits for $14.95.
Whoa, Mom, look at this!
Including even more big portraits. A big 10x13, 4 5x7s, and 4 8x10s.
4 8x10s!
Plus a portrait ID card and 12 portrait Christmas cards.
My own cards!
So hurry to Kmart this week and get 60 portraits.
Look, Mom, look!
Including even more big portraits, all for only $14.95.
Hey, Johnny, look at this.
KGAN, Channel 2.